Channel Sports Central beginning every college football game preview and prediction on the 2020 Camellia Bowl between Marshall and Buffalo, two teams of which have had very good seasons, as Marshall is coming into this game at a 7-2 record, and then Buffalo is 5-1. Both teams also coming off of conference championship game losses, as Marshall just lost to UAB 22-13, and Buffalo lost to Ball State 38-28. But still, it's been a great season for both these teams. We're going over a full game preview and prediction on this bowl game here today, starting out with your team trends. Buffalo once again lost to Ball State 28-38, and then Marshall lost to UAB in the conference championship games. Winning streaks for both these teams. Buffalo is 5-1 with a one-game losing streak, and then Marshall is 7-2 with a two-game losing streak. And that's kind of been the thing for, both these teams have been ranked over the course of the season. Like we saw Marshall ranked, I think, in the top 15 at one point after they started off the season 7-0. Which ever since that last win on November 14th, this team has really struggled down the stretch. Meanwhile, for Buffalo, Buffalo's also been a dominant team over the course of the season, as really, before that Ball State championship game, they've really blown out pretty much every opponent that they've played. And so for Buffalo here, I'd consider them to have more momentum, but really, both teams here are not doing too well in terms of momentum coming into this bowl game, even though Marshall, this Marshall team did start 7-0. Let me remind you, this game is going to be on Friday, December 25th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Montgomery. Spread currently says Buffalo by 3.5. ESPN FPI is going Buffalo 55%, and Vegas prediction also going with Buffalo here 34-30. So it looks like the Bulls are favored here in all three areas, which is not much of a surprise considering Marshall, once again, this is a team that had a couple of weeks off in between November 14th and December 5th there. And after that December 5th game against Rice, they got shut out. It's been a struggle for this Marshall team the last few weeks. But if you look at Buffalo here, Buffalo's got more momentum, I would say, than Marshall. If you look at Buffalo, they've been more dominant over the course of the season as well. So, I think Buffalo should be the favorite here in this game, but I definitely think Marshall should not be slept on at all coming into this game, considering how good of a team this team has been this season as well. But here's your stack prediction for this game. Buffalo has got 47 points per game on the season, which is extremely impressive, even through 6 games. Buffalo's offense has been very good all season long, and that's a big thing that you're going to have to watch out for coming into this game. Like their quarterback, Van Treese, has had a great season, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions is what he's had. You can't forget about Wells on the Marshall side, who's put up 223 pass yards per game with just right around 2,000 yards on the season, 18 touchdowns and 9 interceptions as well. So really, you got 2 pretty good quarterbacks going head-to-head here in this matchup. Buffalo also allows 23 points per game. They got 199 pass yards a game. But the big thing is for Buffalo here is their rushing game. Patterson is their top running back. He's put up just over 1,000 yards on the season with 19 touchdowns, which is very impressive out of Patterson, especially considering this team has only played 6 games this season. And then for yards allowed, they got 217 passing and then 161 rushing. As for Marshall here, they got kind of a similar stat line in comparison to Buffalo. The only difference here is that the points per game is just decreased, or that ratio is just decreased there, as they've got 30 points per game, 12 points allowed. They had 223 pass yards a game, 183 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, they got 188 passing and then 88 rushing. This team is very, very good on defense. Is something that you will notice with Marshall. That's pretty self-explanatory based off of how many points they allow per game on average, with only 12. This is a team that's extremely talented on the defensive side coming into this matchup, and that's definitely something you're going to have to worry about coming into this game. Here's some key points for this one. Buffalo is a huge rushing team. There's no doubt about that. If you look at, once again, 309 average rush yards per game, that is extremely impressive. I don't think we've ever seen, this season at least, a team like Buffalo put up 309 rush yards per game. That is extremely impressive. Those are passing yards, or those are passing numbers usually for averages. But for Buffalo, they've been a great rushing team this season. And that's going to be the big thing here for Marshall, is that Marshall's got a great rush defense. And that's going to be an interesting matchup there, is the Marshall defense in comparison to Buffalo. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup for both these teams for sure. It's going to be fun to see whether or not Buffalo can even run on the Marshall defense here. But both teams have been in the rankings this season. Marshall was top 15, I think, at one point in the AP poll. And then Buffalo, the Buffalo was just ranked last week before their last game against Ball State in the conference championship game. But still, both teams here have had good seasons. There's no doubt that this should be an important matchup for both these teams. And especially, the winner of this game has got a lot to celebrate, that's for sure. But, how each team would win in this situation, the thing is that you got to watch out for is, once again, if you look at the rushing game for Buffalo in comparison to the rushing defense for Marshall, I mean, whichever team does better in that situation will probably win this game. Like, if Buffalo can rush on Marshall, it's likely that the offense is going to do very well, and we're going to see Buffalo get the win. Meanwhile, for Marshall, if their defense can hold up tight like they have been all season long, that will be a huge factor in determining whether or not Marshall can win, which in this situation, I got to go with Buffalo. I think it's going to be very close. This game is a very tough one to predict. I could easily see this one going either way. But looking at the momentum for both sides, I think Buffalo's got more momentum. Marshall is not hardly, I mean, the last win that they had was on November 14th, believe it or not. And ever since they lost 2 straight, and they've not had 2 very good games down the stretch. So I'm going to go with Buffalo here. It's going to be very close, though. 30-27 will be the final score. We're going to see lots of field goals in this game. Probability is going to be 60% towards Buffalo. But yeah, I mean, I could easily see this one being a little more low scoring as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing hit the under easily, which the over-under for this game is actually 53. So right now, I've got the over, but I could easily see this game being the under, considering how both teams are momentum-wise coming into this game. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with the over. I'm going to go with Buffalo as well, 30-27 being the final score. But let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game. Score predictions, all of that down below in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But I appreciate you guys all sticking around and watching this video. If you enjoyed this one, slap a like on it, subscribe as well, as it really helps to the channel, and I really appreciate that. But once again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you all later.